Alright everybody, it's dusk, just about nighttime. Figured I'd take everybody on a quick behind the scenes tour of the haunted trail of Longshore Lake. Just see what I've been up to this year. So Hurricane Irma came through and did some pretty good damage, but we were pretty lucky. I figured give the neighborhood another year of this thing. So here we go. I'll take you through the beginning of it here. Everything starts right here at the trailhead. I've got my donation table set up and my control box for some of my various animatronic spooks. Shaking Eyes, as well as the Rising Reaper way back there, which I'll show you. This is where the trail officially starts at here, but at the beginning, as people are waiting, I've had a first digital effect of this year. I've incorporated a lot of digital effects this year. I believe about 5 or 6 different projections, but this is the first one. This is the Jack-o'-lantern Jamboree from Fear Effects. It's been a real showstopper, people stopper on the road. I've rigged up a projector box here to protect it. A little piece of glass cut and silicone into the front. And for the sound on this one, I'm using a Bluetooth speaker that creates a more localized sound for it. So I've worked real hard to create some depth of sound as well as lighting this year. Once you come into the path itself, everyone's greeted by Mr. Reaper there, Mr. Gravekeeper right there. Gives you a nice little welcoming to the graveyard. Got my shaky eyes right here that you heard. And they shake this shrub as the kids walk past. And I've also incorporated a fogger onto this part of the path now. I've got a hose, perforated hose, running down the whole side of this hedgerow underneath my blinky eyes. It creates a real nice low mist across the ground, and it just looks terrific against the path lights, the trail lights. So moving on through here, I mentioned lights. This is one of the things I've been working on to create that depth of light here. Actually made baffles, incorporated a whole bunch of new lights this year, all orange, red and orange at this point, but I created some baffles for them to really try to keep the light focused where I need it to be. You can see here at nighttime the effect of those lights on the wall and throughout. Here's Mr. Rising Reaper. So this guy's a real terrific effect. Had him last year. He rises up, I don't know, like 8 foot tall. It's a real cool effect. Nice and spooky. Coming through the trail though, I've also tried to go for more of a 3D effect on the tombstones, which in years past I've only incorporated them on one side of the trail. In this year I've actually put them on both sides. And part of that reason is because of this effect here, which is probably my favorite effect this year. This is a hand-built arbor, and it has a scrim stretched across the back. I'm using a 3D Atmosphere FX Hallillusion product, the Beckoning Beauty. She's projected on here at nighttime. And with the depth of the tombstone behind her, which as you can see it has a light on it as well, it just really makes her look like she's floating on nothing. This scrim completely disappears at nighttime. And this is the projector box here that I'm using for her, which has had to be positioned at just a perfect angle in between these tombstones to help block so you don't see the projector. But the effect is still projected nicely. And for her, I'm using a much larger speaker, a bass-heavy speaker. which I'm able to run and put it more up into the front area here, more in the center of the graveyard. And she has some great sounds, really great sounds. So when you're in the graveyard, the sound is really dominated by her. And it works great. It just really works. It looks terrific at nighttime. So I'm looking forward to people seeing that. I've moved my spiders this year. That used to be the spider layer up there with the spider witch last year at the end of the trail, but this year I've moved them over here as I've got a new effect up there. So they're hanging out there, and then got a little surprise for the kids hidden once they get past the oak tree. A little jumping spider. So he's pretty good, motion activated. So once they get out of the graveyard, continuing along the trail, they have a witch that they can visit off to the side here. This is another 3D FX. This is from Atmosphere as well. This is the witching hour, which I've taken those videos and created a loop out of them, and they're projected out of this box here. I'm using a computer to project those images, and at nighttime it looks terrific. It really looks killer. So I've been testing her out the last, I don't know, week or so at nighttime, and really pleased with the results of it. So excited for people to check this out at nighttime. Kind of a decompress area. If people just kind of want to hang out there and listen to her sing and do her seances. So this is getting to the end of the trail right here, the grand finale. And if you can see them just slightly there, I've got my, let's see if I can get my focus back here. I've got my window race. I'm going to be able to focus on it. I've got my window race up there though. But those I've used multiple years, and they fill up the window here. Really look terrific. But cool thing this year is, instead of just seeing the window race on the window, which has stopped traffic in their own right multiple times at night, this year people are actually going to be able to come up and meet Wraith in person. So I've got a additional 3D FX. This is the Atmosphere Effects 3D inflatable dummy, which has worked really well. Very light and portable, works very nicely. So on that I have the Wicked Wraith projection, 3D FX projection cast on that. So if you notice, this is the first area here that I've used a different light color. In this case I'm using green fire and ice light, and it creates more of a spectral feel to it. And I also have a fogger rigged up here, and the fogger fills this whole room that I've made. It's getting a little bit harder to see here as the nighttime sets in, but it's just a real simple structure made of PVC piping. Created an archway out of them, 3 or 4 of them, kind of like the ribs of this big fellow, and then ran weed matting across them and stapled that all together, and it's working real well. So traps in the fog and gives the kids something crazy to walk into, and the fog fills up the bowl here at the end as well, which is great. And of course that's where the candy's at. So if they want some candy, they're going to have to meet Mr. Wraith. So I'll show you real quick how I've done the one of these projection boxes, as well as the projector itself, how I'm creating this effect. And of course it's getting darker again, so it might be hard to see, but it's just a simple PVC box here with with some locks on it, and I've cut a hole in it and put a piece of glass in it, and glued in, siliconed in a piece of glass. And then I've got my projector right inside of there. And I'm using a Chromebook to run this one. I've got a couple localized computer speakers for this one here. So gives again a nice localized sound for it, and I can really control the sound how I want it to be controlled. So that's it, you guys. That's a quick walkthrough, a little behind the scenes of the 2017 edition of the Haunted Trail Longshore Lake. Hopefully you guys liked it. If you guys have any comments, questions, drop them down below. And definitely check the link below for the nighttime version when it gets real dark, so you guys can see all these effects at work. Hopefully you guys like it. So cheers, happy Halloween.